Welcome back to the channel, my friends. I'm riding towards the sun a little bit. It's later in the day and I'm riding this road in the proper direction to get the right lighting. But that's not why you clicked on the video, is it? Hey, first of all, how's your day going? Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you're doing all right out there. It is hot, hot, hot across the whole country as I'm recording this, so hopefully it's cooled down some. But I want to talk head and eyes today. Yeah, not that dirty thing, but motorcycling. Yes. Now, I am not an expert at motorcycling. I am reasonably competent, and for the most part, I keep myself from falling on my head whenever I throw a leg over my motorbike. But I do want to share kind of a story with you. See, I developed a bad habit, and it started, and I mentioned this in a previous video recently, that when I wrecked my Vaquero in 2018, it really set me back years in my motorcycle training, and it caused me to pay a lot of attention to the road surface, the condition of the road, what's on the road, if it's wet, yada, yada, yada. I used to ride in the rain, not often, but frequently enough that it didn't really bother me. Then I became deathly afraid of it, kind of like I am with needles. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The problem is, if I'm looking right in front of the bike, I don't see this corner coming up, so I'm not prepared for it. But now I'm looking all the way up the hill, and my body just reacts to the changing curve of the road. And every once in a while I look down a little bit, I kind of glance with my eyeballs to see if there's any kind of obstruction on the road, and I make sure there's no cross traffic and stuff like that. But this is a big thing. This is a bad habit that I got myself into, where I'm looking like right in front of the bike. And in fact, I find myself sometimes looking through the windshield, and I'm going to pay attention to this FedEx driver, make sure he doesn't pull out and squish me. Whoop. Look at that. Didn't even lose our whole lane. Lead. Yeah, lead. That's the word. Hey, words. They fall out of my mouth and into a camera. Through a microphone. No germs. But I need coffee. Oh my goodness. Yes. We need coffee. And my iced coffee is now warm. Hopefully I didn't get a speed camera ticket back there. But ever since, I don't know, a couple weeks before VAM, I've been really trying to focus on breaking this bad habit, because I realized that what made me feel uncomfortable when leaning the bike and going through a corner is that I am too worried about what's right in front of the bike versus like that corner that I need to safely navigate. So I'll line up and I'm going to lean my head way over, and yeah, I'm just looking through it, give a little bit of throttle. My head and eyes, I'm looking at the box truck way up there, and we went through that corner nicely. Ooh, it's windy. There's always big wind gusts back in that straightaway. But we're going to do it again up here. I focused on motorcycling, but if you watch the split screen that I just did, you can see that my head and eyes were pointed way through the corner. And I think a lot of us forget about that, especially on roads that we're comfortable with. And we get into, like I said, this bad habit of looking too close to the bike and not further away from the bike to where the next corners are going to be, and that we need to safely navigate. And there's something else that ties into this as well, and that is a little bit of body position. I found myself doing like this and putting my chin over the inside mirror and then leaning the bike a little bit. And I still do that a little bit, but Jarvis, while we were at VAM, like I've said in the other video, we were on comms a lot, and he's like, dude, it's a 900-pound Harley. You're not that big a percentage of its overall weight when it hits the ground. That's a bad term. When it's overall weight, the gross vehicle weight. So this bike weighs 900 pounds. I'm like 240 on a bad day with gear. And so my body position doesn't matter as much. It might matter more on a lighter bike where you want to like throw your weight around and it makes a bigger difference, but not on this thing. This big old hog don't give a crap what you're doing. And what I found was that by just grabbing the bar, not tightly, loose grip, you know, even like this, and just pushing and just leaning the bike over, and it does a number of things. It not only makes the transition quicker because you're not worried about body and all this stuff, you're just looking where you want to go, leaning the bike, and the bike goes through the corner. But it also, where was I? But it also keeps your head upright. So in the case of somebody like me that has a little bit of balancing problems thanks to the ear thing I mentioned, it's yeah, it can be not good when you're tilting your head over a little bit, and you might find yourself doing that, like you tilt your head over. And I've seen those silly videos where the guy's like this trying to go through a corner and his bike is straight and it's not cornering. I'm not saying that's what I was doing, but at the same time, I'm not saying that's not what I was doing. But when I leaned my body over, maybe my head wasn't tilted far enough to the right, because I also have some neck issues. So by just leaning the bike by itself, this line right here, and I'm glad I'm doing this at a stoplight, but this line right here just stays upright and the bike tilts over, and it feels a lot more comfortable. So when I end up going through a corner, an intersection or whatever, I'm just like, don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Lean the bike knows what to do. She's a good girl. Did I just hit my camera, dag nabbit. I'm about to get a light and I can show you what I'm talking about. Example time. Nice and comfortable, and my eyes never left that black Honda Accord up there. Hell yeah, let's go. I don't know what they're doing. When in doubt, throttle out. So again, I'm not saying I'm an expert at motorcycling, but I did want to share that tip with you today to break a bad habit, because we all get them. We all get them. We hear that if you want to learn to ride a motorcycle, hire a professional, take an MSF course, that sort of thing. Don't have your buddy do it, because your buddy's going to teach you the bad habits that they have learned over the years. And there's a lot of truth to that. And I'm not saying you can't learn from your buddies. I learned a lot about target fixation from an old friend of mine when I was first learning how to ride. And he taught me a number of other good things. Target fixation really just sticks in my head, because the first ride that I did was like at night, and there was a newspaper on the ground, and we get up to the gas station a mile later, and he's like, so what was the headline on today's paper? And I went, what do you mean? He goes, you were staring at that paper. I saw you in my mirror. And this is a guy that he could outride a lot of people. He's a really good rider. And I took that to heart, and I try not to target fixate. But I ride by myself a lot, so I didn't realize that part of my issue is I am not target fixating, but I'm not keeping my head and eyes up far enough. And once I realized that, man, it's a whole game changer. I can go through these corners, and it's not necessarily a whole lot faster, but it's with a lot more comfort and smoothness, which is my overarching goal for riding a motorbike. It's to be smooth and comfortable on the bike, because there's a lot of times when I'm not comfortable on a bike. In fact, just the other day when I was riding, I realized that my motovlog probably wasn't as good as it could have been, because I wasn't focused on keeping my head and eyes up, and I got too wrapped around the axle of doing too many things at once. What was going on right in front of the bike, and I wasn't feeling comfortable going through the corners. And this is a good road to talk about this same thing. So we're gonna ride this road and finish up, because this one, look at that squiggly line sign, has some nice little corners to it. It's like a scale of the Dragon, right? It's not really big, it's not long, but it does have a little bit of elevation and some tight-ish corners. No switchbacks. You wouldn't find a switchback on the scale of a Dragon, only on the tail or the back. But you got to keep your head and eyes up, people. It's very important. I think it's one of the most important things to do while cornering. I mean, that and knowing how to countersteer. Video up here. Yeah, I know how to countersteer. And countersteering just comes in really handy if you're not worried about body position. You're just rolling along, and you're like, I'm just going to throw the bike through this corner now, and I'll be fine. Because you got to, and look, that brings up another topic, and it's really related, so listen up. It's trusting the bike. If you know that your tires and suspension are good, your bike's in good running order, you should be able to trust the bike to just do what you tell it to do when you tell it to do something. And of course, we're stuck behind a car, so I can't go my normal Mario Andretti pace. He's a car driver, John. Jeez. Mark Marquez, that's it, yes. But I will be able to go through this and show you that my head and eyes are looked at the next corner. Looked. Looking. See, I'm focusing on motorbiking, not moto vlogging. There's a difference, people. And that's the road. It straightens up now, and we're going to end the video. It's been long enough. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate your time. Hit the like, share, comment, and bell icons. Yeah, something like that. I don't really know what I'm doing. Anyway, 2 mantras. 1, you have a 100% track record of making it through a bad day. And 2, do something nice for yourself every day. Maybe it's practicing your head and eyes and keeping them up and out when you're riding a bike. Bye. That was fun. That was really, really a lot of fun. Can I get a green light? It's hot, and I'm about to get rear-ended, aren't I? Yep, there's a green light. Go. It's coming. Ooh, that's a big bump. All right, end the video. Are you still here? Oh, thank you so much for sticking to the end. Bye.